Turn the volumes up all the way. Can you do me a favor, bud? Will you grab me the laptop off the table? Please. And thank you. Hi, everyone. Hello, hello. Welcome in. Hi. We're going to give it a few minutes and let everyone get in here. Wait for Heinzie and everyone. That one, please. Yeah. Was it charging? Ooh, that could be dangerous. Good evening, everyone. I just got back from my dad's. Brandon had to go cut the grass, and I got to see my niece for a little bit. So I just posted a video with my favorite niece. But we still got battery. We're good. All right. Let me get situated. Hello. Here is. I'm going to let everyone come in. I'm going to tell you guys what we're talking about tonight. We have a special guest that's going to come in. We're going to talk about the case.
Hello, everybody.
Good evening, Peachy.
Hi.
How are you, my love?
I'm good. I'm excited
I know.
about our special guest.
Me too. I am very thankful that she feels okay enough to come on and talk to us. That's going to be, I think it's good. It's for everyone to learn
absolutely.
and gain perspective. And there's a lot we do, guys, like just ourselves in our own counties and our own states that we can't fix what has happened, but we can change things moving forward.
Right. Hi, everybody.
Here's Heinzie. All right, guys, before I accept it real quick, we're going to keep everything very respectful. Zero tolerance for trolls. You guys are a great group. We never have any issues. I just ask you guys share it out so we can keep building the room up. I know it's Friday night, but we can get the numbers up like usual. And
tap.
Krystle coming in tonight. She was Jesse McFadden's first victim. She was why what he did to her sent him to jail for what was supposed to be 20 years. It only turned out to be 17, and this tragedy happened, which is just mind-blowing that they let him out. So she's going to come on tonight and talk to us about her perspective and things like that. So I'm going to let her in.
While you're letting her in, I just want to remind everybody in the comments that we are going to be respectful tonight. It is a privilege, not a right, to be in this space. I will do whatever I need to if I see any disrespect. So please, show love to this beautiful Krystle for coming up here and sharing herself with us. And like Jacob said, no disrespect will be tolerated. We're going to keep the comments on. If you guys show that you can stay respectful, we will keep them on. If not, we're going to have to shut them off. So
I think you guys can. You guys are always absolutely amazing.
We usually do. I don't want to see it tonight of all nights. Please no.
I know. I understand. But we absolutely, you guys know we love and appreciate all of you in the comments. Krystle, I want to thank you so much for coming in and joining us tonight. Guys,
hi, Krystle. Welcome.
Welcome, love.
Hi.
We're so glad to have you here.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So, Krystle, why don't you start? Do you want to tell us, everybody that's in here, you guys know what case we're talking about. We're talking about Riley Allen, Tiffany Guess, Michael Mayo, Ivy Webster, and Brittany Brewer. They unfortunately lost their lives last week along with Riley, Tiffany, and Michael's mother, Holly. They were brutally unalived by a man named Jesse McFadden. Jesse McFadden was in jail for SA to children, Krystle, it was supposed to be 20 years. He was let out on good behavior at 17, although this man, while he was in jail, was charged with raping another inmate, was charged with having a contraband phone which had CP pictures on them. He was sending pictures of him himself out with the contraband phone. So he had pending charges and they released him out into the public. He committed this horrible crime. You guys, if you've seen it, I have posted to my page just what the inside of the house looked like and just the paraphernalia and things and electronics that were found throughout the house. Something I found today that I thought was interesting. His probation officer, whatever, I'm not sure if he was on probation, but the person for the sexual registry that was supposed to check in with him had only been to the home one time, and I don't even think he went in. Going from that, just to give you all a little filler, Krystle, what do you want to tell us about how you came about to speak out for these kids?
I'm not, what do you mean by that?
I don't know if you want to share anything personally about what happened with you or why you feel the reason that you are, because you're becoming pretty much an advocate for these kids and speaking out about why this man shouldn't have been let out of jail.
Well, I'm pretty comfortable with sharing pretty much anything, really.
Okay, I'll let you take the floor.
Everybody's just been kind of asking me kind of direct questions and I just kind of go from there. So, I mean, I don't really know like what you guys are comfortable with me sharing. So I'll just let you guys ask the questions and I'll answer. How does that sound?
Okay, that is good. Do you want to tell us how old you were when you were a victim to Jesse?
I was 16.
You were 16.
Yes.
So you have your own children. I see you're grown. I think you're probably around a little younger than me, but my age.
Yeah, I'm 36 now.
Okay. Yeah, I'm 40 now, going on 41. So you're right there. And were you in Oklahoma at the time? Is this where the incident happened?
So my mom lived in Kansas and my dad lived in Canadian Shores. And so I was my dad's, my dad actually has 2 kids, but we didn't know about the other kid he had for a long time. So I just kind of like thought I was the only kid for a while. And so I just kind of went back and forth until we found out about her or whatever. And then we got close. But I just went back and forth from my mom's to my dad's because I was so rotten. So I just went back and forth to each parent's and, just kind of did my own thing. I had a school here, school there. And so that's kind of how that played out. And then, so I'm sure you guys want to know how I met Jesse, and I'm sure that you guys are going to ask about the whole Holly thing because everybody's so confused about that.
Yeah.
So in Indianola, or off the highway, there was this bar called Ruby's Bar and Tavern. It's not even open anymore, but this woman named Ruby owned it, and she had a couple of grandkids named Holly and Stephanie. And my dad was like a huge like pool player and whatever, and so he would go there and play pool. And so I would play with like her grandkids and stuff, and like so I would play like at her house, and then there was like a thing in the back of the bar. Like I'm saying, like in the early '90s, this was okay then, so don't freak out. So I would play back there. My dad would shoot pool. We would go home, whatever. And so then when we got older, we just kind of lost contact, really. And so we became more of like acquaintances. She kind of they did their own thing, and then I did my own thing. She started dating, so I went to high school with Jesse and Holly, and
so Holly had known Jesse for a while then.
No, this is a different Holly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was a freaky coincidence. This is totally different Hollies.
I thought you meant that Holly, and I was like, okay, so they have known each other.
Yeah, I'll get to that in a second because I was super pissed whenever I thought it was her. So I kept Holly and her sister on my Facebook, forever. They even showed up to the hospital whenever they did the kid on me and stuff, because you have to go through the whole process. And she was like, I'm so sorry, because she was dating him for, or whatever. And so anyways, when everything had come about, my stepmom had texted me that day. I'm getting kind of ahead of myself. But my stepmom had texted me the day that the kids went missing. And she's like, Krystle, I have to tell you something. And I was like, what? And she's like, they think Jesse abducted a couple of kids. And I immediately was just sick to my stomach. Like, I actually had gotten sick. I was sick all day long, like just sick to my stomach. And I was like crying and carrying on. And so I started digging into Facebook or whatever, because I was like, oh my gosh, like I thought he was living at his mother's. like, I actually didn't know he had gotten released, because I had heard that he had been released in 2020, but I didn't know they had actually did it, because as far as I knew, they were supposed to contact me and let me know of all of his
That's what I was going
whereabouts.
to say. Aren't they supposed to contact you because you're the victim in that
Yeah,
case?
apparently I don't matter, because Marcy's Law apparently wasn't passed until 2017, so I don't matter.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So anyways, in 2020, it flashed across the screen saying that he had been in contact with a 14-year-old girl, because I was sitting at my house, and it said that he had been in contact with a 14-year-old girl with a contraband phone. And I was like, what the heck? And my daughter came home, and she's like, what's wrong? Because I was crying. And I was like, oh my gosh, sis, they're going to let him out of jail. And she's like, who? And she looked at the TV, and she's like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And I was like, no, like, I'm not okay. So I called my mom, and my mom's like, okay, like, call the jail, like, find out, like, what's going on. And so I did, and of course I got the runaround, we'll call you back, all this BS. I never did get a call back, and I kind of just, let it go. And I was like, my family's like, don't worry, he's never going to come around you, like, we got you. And so I just kind of stayed away from Oklahoma. But a couple of years ago, I did ended up going to Henrietta, to my aunt's house for Easter. And had I known that he was living in Henrietta, I would have never went. And if I did go, I would have been that woman at the convenience store handing out flyers talking about, don't let this creep around your kids, because that's the kind of person I am. I had no idea that somebody would actually go and marry him, especially someone with kids. And I didn't know the courts would even allow that. Like, I don't look that deep into the system to think, now I will for sure be that person. But I didn't think that the country would allow this. Like, I just figured,
all it takes is an incident like that. But I can already see it in you, and just the way you're speaking and the way you're standing up for these children. And Holly, like, you in your own right are already an advocate.
I can't figure it out for the life of me. Like, any of it, it just blows my mind that they said that he was out on good time, which is crazy to me, because the more I dig and the more people are just reaching out to me and telling me stuff. And I'm like, wait, he assaulted 2 men while he was in prison. Wait, he assaulted a nurse while he was in there. He had more phones. He did this, he did that. And then you're telling me that he got out on good time. How is that possible?
Yeah, he got out on good
He wasn't supposed to get out until 2025. So I'll be clear about that.
Yes, Dottie, there was multiple incidents in prison. He was in trouble for graping an inmate. He had a contraband cell phone, which he was sending out nude photos, and he was getting minors to send him photos back of themselves. Like, he should have never been allowed out.
And so, and I don't know how true this is, but I would really like to get this cleared up. And if this is really true, this person needs to be brought in on charges also. And I don't see why Holly's family would lie about this, but they did an interview, and I will quote exactly what she said. I was going to
ask you about this interview too, so please go off.
She did. I saved it all to my TikTok, but she did an interview, and she said Miss Banfield asked her. She said, so did she not know that, Jesse was a predator? And she said, yes, but the only thing is, she said the girl was 19 and not 16. And she said it was a misunderstanding, and he had in fact paid someone to impersonate the victim.
That has to be illegal. That has to be illegal. I mean, obviously it's illegal, but she should be able to be charged with something.
Yeah, and they're saying that they knew that I was impersonated. Apparently, they've seen the person's face. Why is that person not being brought up on charges? Why am I not being told about this? I mean, this is just crazy to me that I have no case. That's okay, but I have nothing to go off of. And he could have potentially been, thinking of me or watching my family this entire time. I mean, he's gone now. I get that. But if he's tied to some kind of a ring, like they're saying, I don't know what he was tied to.
Exactly.
And that's why
you definitely have to keep an eye out over your shoulder, because we don't know what he's tied to at this point. They said with the electronics in there, I believe it was Ivy's dad that said it, there was enough to run a CP ring with the electronics there. Yeah. So who knows just the people that he's connected with.
Yeah, and so I do know, I do have some screenshots that so I lived in a small town. I'm not going to say where, because, I'm on a live and I don't know.
No, please don't.
But I don't live there anymore, but she was literally, I have a message from somebody else that said, oh, I got to get to Wichita real quick. I'm going to flash. I'm going to hurry. I literally lived like 45 minutes from Wichita at one point. And that's fine. but I don't, that just kind of creeps me out a little bit because his mom was such an enabler. And I mean, she was literally trying to talk the other victim out of pressing charges. She was trying to coax her out of things. I mean, manipulating the crap out of her. I mean,
and it sounds like Jesse was kind of playing into her like, oh, I love you, I want to have a life with you type deal from what it sounds like.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure he was. I'm not going to speak on Caitlin's behalf, but
Yeah, but he sounds like a very manipulative person, like a very
yes.
calculated, manipulated person.
And seeing with me, I don't know that part of Jesse. I know that he dated Holly, but I was never around their relationship. I don't know that part of him. The couple of times that I was around him, like I went to school with him and his brother was very quiet. He was very standoffish. I ran around with like the people that played softball, things like that. Like, I guess the preppy or popular crowd, you would call them. I don't know. And I kind of did my own thing. And so when I did see Jesse, he would call me I remember this very vaguely. He would call me hatchback ass and he would make fun of me and carry on. And so when he broke in my home that night, he was the very last person I expected to do that, you know?
Right.
Now I'm very cautious of my surroundings and my kids, and I don't hover them, but I'll be checking on them.
So he broke into your home to assault you.
Basically, so that night, I can go over a little bit of that. So that night, so I had been at a party that night. I had begged my dad. My dad was a pipeliner, and my stepmom was keeping an eye on me, but she was, staying at her mom's in Canadian because I told her I wasn't coming home. I was going to stay. I pulled that whole kid thing. I'm going to stay with a friend crap. She's like, okay, well, I'm going to go stay at my mom's because she loved her mom very much. And she was like, okay. And so that night I went to a party and I ended up, drinking. And so I was kind of responsible, I guess you'd say. So I had somebody drive me home. And I left my truck in a different town. And the person came in and they stayed for a while. And I was like, look, you can go home. I don't need you to stay here. And they're like, are you sure? And now I look back and I really should have had them stay, but I told them to go. So they leave, and I can't remember if it was like 2 or 3 in the morning. I kept hearing this pounding on the door, and I finally got up and I was like, who the hell is here? And so I opened it just a little bit and it was Jesse. And I thought, which, I knew who he was from school and because of Holly. And I'm like, mind you, this is a totally different Holly, not Holly. Guess.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So
definitely a good reminder for them in the comments as well, though.
Yeah. And so when I opened the door, I was like, what are you doing here, dude? And he's like, well, Holly kicked me out and I need somewhere to go, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, dude, you can't be here. Call your girlfriend, get the fuck out of here. And so when I went to shut the door, he kind of shoved the door open and pushed me back, shoved me onto the couch. And next thing I know, there was a sock in my mouth. And then I've been telling the more that comes back to me, I think I suppressed a lot of stuff because it has been so long ago and I put it all behind me. I think that he drugged me that night. I really freaking do. Because the more that I think about it, more stuff comes back to me. And when he was on me and stuff, I kept coming to and falling back out, coming to and falling back out. So he put the sock in my mouth and he got off of me. And I was like, dude, what the hell are you doing? You got to get off me. What are you doing? And then I remember being drugged through my living room. And I had a futon in my bedroom at the time. And he took my dad's so those Western belts with the cloth ones. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, they're the older ones. But my dad had a bunch of those, and so he tied me up with those. And I remember a bungee cord. He had my feet tied up. Actually, he undressed me first. He had me all tied up with all that stuff and tied up to the metal poles on the futon, the metal futon. And then he was on top of me, and then I was just screaming so freaking loud, loud. And during this, I actually had 2 of my friends drive by, I believe, and my stepmom, but nobody stopped because it was not like me to ever leave my truck anywhere, ever. I just didn't do that.
Right. So they thought you just weren't home.
Yeah, which really sucks, but it is what it is. I can't change the past. And so he was on top of me, and I remember he pulled out this knife of some sort, and he held it to my throat, and he was pushing really hard, and he's like, bitch, if you don't shut your mouth, he's like, I will fucking kill you right here. And I remember I immediately just stopped crying and I was like, okay. And I remember I looked right up, I sat my head straight up. I looked him dead in the eye and I said, you do whatever the F you got to do and get the fuck out of my house. And I remember it seemed like forever. I remember I had an out of body experience. It felt like my soul was just floating above me. And most women will be like, oh, I'll beat this, I'll do this and all. It's not like that. That's not how it is.
I almost want to say it sounds like you got taken over by shock.
Somebody
Like that.
said that people have out of body experiences, and that's
Yeah.
almost what it was
That
like.
was,
But some people think that I could have been drugged too, but I've never done like hard drugs like that. So I don't know if I was or not. They never done a drug test or anything like that. So I would have never have known.
right.
So when he was putting the knife to my throat, I finally quit screaming. And so he tried, like, after everything was over, I was like, Jesse, you got to untie me, because he was just pacing and pacing. And he's like, you're going to tell on me. You're going to tell on me. And I was like, no, I was like, I won't tell you, dude. We're homies. We're homies. You got to untie me. I was like, I won't tell Holly. I promise. I promise. And so he just kept pacing, and he finally untied me. He's like, okay, we got to cover up the evidence. We got to do this. And I was like, okay, I'll do whatever. And I was still undressed, and I had a bathroom. I'll never forget that bathroom. It had dolphins all over it. Oh my God.
I know.
And so I went in the bathroom, and he's like, wash your hands, do this and that. And I was still no clothes. I don't know why he kept me like that. And so I went in the living room. I sat on my dad's couch, and I was just rocking back and forth, but covering myself. And he came in the living room, and he's like, we got to figure this out. And he's like, okay. And he handed me a whole bunch of stuff and like threw it at me. And he's like, okay, we got to figure this out. And I was like, okay. I was like, what do you want me to do? And he's like, we got to wash this. Well, my dad had 2 doors on his trailer. And I don't know why the trailer was set up like that. It was really weird. It was on the same side. And the washing machine was towards the like back. And so when Jesse was turned, like pacing the floor and turned towards my bedroom, I told him I was going to go to the washer, but as soon as he turned his back, I threw the clothes on top of the washer, and I hit that back door, and I just ran down the short dirt road as fast as it felt like I was running at the speed of light. And I ran all the way to the neighbor's house. I busted through her front door, and I just fell to my knees, and I said, he just, did what he did to me. What am I going to do? And she's like, he did what to you, baby? What happened? And then I told her, the police got called. I called my best friend and her dad. He was a warden at the time. I think he made it there before the police did. And then basically the cops found Jesse at the river with his wrist slit.
Gosh, see, I'm so sorry you went through this, but I feel like
So sorry.
you're like, oh, I feel like I would have reacted differently, or people say that. I feel like the response you had saved your life.
I look back now, and I think so too. And I've said this on every, the few interviews that I've actually done. I used to cry to God, because for a little bit I did go down a very dark road, and I was rebelling on my real mom. I came back to Kansas. She came and picked me up the very next day, and I put that woman through a lot of hell. She put me in counseling. I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. They tried putting me on all these sleeping pills, all this stuff, and I was going to parties and sneaking out and acting a fool. And I look back now at this, and I basically just turned to God, and everything I do, I don't really have friends. I just pray about everything. And one way or the other, stuff just ends up working out for me. And God just gives his strongest soldiers the toughest battles, because that's just how it is, I guess. I don't know. He just doesn't give you anything you can't really handle. I don't know. I really believe in that.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I feel like you're amazingly strong. I don't know if I could have reacted that way, but your actions saved your life. I feel like you going through some trouble after that, you were just working stuff out. Like, I can't even imagine the trauma that you're still working through.
I think I'm okay. I think I've dealt with my trauma with it. I think all he did was make me a little bit stronger, a little more cautious, for my own sake, because like I said, there's no telling what would have happened, or if I would have stayed around the shores, like what would have happened, because that place is just a dark place, and I had no business staying around there.
I'm glad that you got yourself out of there. You seem like you're doing amazing for yourself now, and you've got a great head on your shoulders.
So, I'm trying to get into nursing school, and my daughter's actually graduating high school tomorrow, or she's her graduation's tomorrow. So, I've got a group of great kids.
Congratulations.
I bought my first house a couple of years ago, and so yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
That's amazing. Now, did you ever know Holly, or you don't know Holly?
I don't know her from Adam. So when that all happened, I actually started digging that day, because I actually got a hold of Miss Webster. I found her through Facebook when she shared a post about her daughter, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, I know Jesse. And she's like, how do you know Jesse? And I said, I called her actually on Messenger. I said, oh my God, you got to get your daughter away from him. And she's like, what do you mean? And I said, I just started bawling and I said, he's a predator. I said, I put him away in prison for 20 years. And she said, what do you mean? And then I told her the story and she just broke down and I said, we got to find your baby. I said, I can be in Henrietta in 4 hours. Tell me what I need to do. And she said, baby, bring a lawn chair. We'll find her. And it wasn't
honey.
but deep down, I just knew that she wasn't coming back because then I got the messages from, about what he said to Caitlin about, this is all your fault for continuing this. And I just knew, I read between the lines and I knew what that meant.
Now, do you know how old Caitlin was when she was a victim to him?
I think she was 14.
So right around Ivy and Brittany and Riley, like right around all of their ages.
Yeah, he likes them like that. That's why, I don't know. And everybody's saying like they're thinking like different things and the computers mean stuff. Like, I just feel like I'm not going to say anything because I'm not an investigator and it's not my place. This is in God's hands now and up to the investigators. But I'll tell you this, 3 years is a long time to have somebody out like that on the streets. They should have contacted me a long time ago. They should have not told me his address was at his mother's. They should have told me that he was allowed to get married because I could have maybe put a stop to this.
Well, I found out today, another thing I found out today is Holly tried to take her kids in to visit him while he was in prison. And the warden found out and put a stop to it. But I mean, that should have set off some red flags right there.
Yeah, but then they turned around. Like, that's one law that I do want to get changed. I feel like when you go in and try to get married to someone and you've been in. So people are trying to change the law, but some of them are taking it a little out of context. So let me just add that I do have somebody in my family that was, around the age of 16 and she slept with a 19-year-old and she got pregnant and she actually had a baby with him, okay? But she actually loved this man, or she thought she did. But my family put this man in prison and it ended up putting this kid without a father and it caused a whole bunch of problems. But this was totally consensual. Like, there was a whole relationship.
Right.
So I think we need to stop and think, like, it's different between a whole violent thing and something consensual before we go just throwing people in prison, Like, I'm not saying it's right, but there ought to be terms. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I agree.
I was actually just saying this with my husband the other day that, like, if it's a relationship or whatnot, like, they really need to look into that more because even in some instances, I know people that are on the registry that were in a relationship and it was just a dumb fight. You know what I mean? It was like, well, I'm going to get back at you.
The law needs to be changed to where it's worded a certain way because people are just so mad and angry. They're taking this straight crazy. And so I'm really watching what I say and I'm being very cautious to people's feelings and I'm trying to stand up. Like, I had to get in the Henrietta group and say my piece the other day and I had people mad at me for that and I don't care. Like I said, we're losing track of the picture here. People like, we're here for the kids and everybody's like, oh, Holly's a piece of crap. First of all, thou shalt not judge. I am not going to sit here and speak ill of the dead. If Jesse was such a manipulator and such a charmer and he's so sexy and bleh, not my cup of tea, but he might be someone else's. We don't know what he did to her. We don't know. They didn't even make it to their first year anniversary. And he shot her in the head. So it's not my place. Would I ever put my kids in that position and take my kids around someone like that? Absolutely not. 20 years is a long time to do in prison for a misunderstanding.
Right. Absolutely. That should have set off red flags right there.
Yeah. So I do think that there should be a law set in place to where if you go in and try to marry someone, that the court clerk needs to look at you and say, hey, did you know Joe Bob over here just served 30 years for molesting a 4-year-old little girl? Or, whatever. That needs to be said to the woman that's going to marry you because it's unfair. Because maybe she didn't know. We don't know that.
Some kind of disclosure is what you're looking for.
Yeah. I mean, because they just went to the court clerk and got married. I've heard speculation that she married him because she knew. I don't know any of this because I don't know the woman. I'm just saying that the law needs to be very particular and we need to be very careful about how we do this.
I think that's very smart of you to say, honestly. Because I've told my viewers, they know about my oldest son, Joey. I had him when I was 15. His dad was going on 20 at the time. But I was in love. Like, I loved that man. And I put myself there. Like, I wanted that to happen. It happened. So I don't think he should have ever been, nothing like that should have ever happened. But it seems like it ruins, I don't know, like it ruins the wrong people's life. But then Jesse McFadden got out of jail and was allowed to find a good job. They seem to be, that property looked pretty nice
So
for,
that job too was also a government official job. Like it was through the government, and I can't believe that he was able to do that. Like I have so much information on him, it's disgusting how he got away and jumped through so many loopholes. And if I find out that it was for sure, so I also heard that Miss McFadden, his mother, even when my case happened, that she worked for the Pittsburgh County Courthouse
oh, wow.
where my
That's
case happened.
interesting.
So you know how you can't have like the same lawyer as your cousin or like whatever?
Mm-hmm.
I don't see how she should be able to work at a courthouse where she has access to records of his. I don't think that that's right at all.
Right. And she has another son who's just as, well, not just as bad, but pretty close, I hear.
No, he's disgusting. So the woman that he perpetrated was my stepmom. Okay, so let me clarify this. It was my stepmom's other daughter. So my dad passed away. My dad passed away. She remarried another man years later, and it was her other daughter that he did that to. Pretty close to home for me, and I just found out about that last week.
That's very close to home.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry, Krystle.
So
You
do you
are.
know where his father is in all of this?
I have no idea.
Okay. So we
Wow.
just know about the mom, and they're probably mama's boy, and
She's
mom probably
remarried.
thinks
I
they
know
did you
that.
no wrong.
She's remarried.
Oh, wow. So I wonder where she stands in all of this today. Like, how is
She's
she
being
still
very
defending
quiet.
him?
Yes, always. She's being very quiet right now.
Now, what do you think about what Holly's aunt said about finding toddler panties in the house and stuff? Because I heard Justin say that might not be true. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Wait, what'd you say? Sorry.
The Holly's aunt said that she found bloody toddler panties inside the house. And
I'm
then we
kind of
heard there
staying
was
out of that one. Okay, so I'm going to
Okay.
back up a little bit on that one. So that day that went down, somebody messaged me and said, dude, somebody's over there taking trunkfuls out of that house. And I said, no, they ain't. I was already a little bit mad when I did my interview because I looked at one of the reporters and I said, dude, where are all the cops? Why is this not being I was literally sick when I got there because I don't know if it was that house, if it was just what it was. I think it was just being there. And so anyways, when I got back, she was telling me how trunkloads of stuff are being taken. I said, that ain't right. People do not need to be in that home. It needs to be looked at. He is disgusting. So I ended up messaging the Websters. And then I messaged a couple of, the reporters that I had on speed dial.
Good for
Then
you.
the reporters and the Websters immediately went up there. We found out that it was actually Holly's family that was there taking trunkfuls of stuff out of there. I found that kind of weird because they were taking out records of school records, medical records, things like that. I'm not saying anything.
Strange.
I thought it was strange too. And Mr. Webster says that it's all, misconstrued. It's all misinformation. And he's getting that from his private lawyer and his private investigator. So that's not my place to speak on that. And I'm not going to, but I can tell you that other part is a fact. And I did let them know that people were taking trunkfuls of stuff out of there. And I'm pretty sure it was Holly's family. I don't know why they were doing it, but they did.
I got a weird feeling from them. It just, something isn't sitting right with me with them. I don't know.
I have questions myself. Yeah.
A lot of people seem to think that she made up the whole impersonation thing to make Holly look better and things like that. So.
Oh, okay. So we don't know if that actually did or might have, but that's just their side of it. So do you know who owns that property that they were living at?
His name's Paget. Something Paget.
Relation to them or?
No, I don't think so. He just owns businesses there in Henrietta and stuff. All I know is his last name is Paget. Padgett. That's all I know.
Okay. It just seemed like a nice property. And I'm like, this man didn't even do a background check to see who was going to be the caretaker. Like,
That's
crazy.
exactly what I said. I said, y'all are crazy. I said, man, and where I'm at, they don't care if they don't care if you're renting. Like, they are doing a full background check on you, and if you even miss up one thing, you're getting kicked out. And they're doing home inspections sometimes.
That's how it is here. So I just didn't get it because I was like, man, that's a beautiful property.
And not only that, like DCF, if your kid even comes home with a weird bruise, they're like, dude, DCF, here they come. Like, I don't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
We did have I'm sorry to cut you off, my love.
Okay.
We had a couple questions of people wondering if you knew what his actual job was. Like, I know you said that it was a government type job, but do you know exactly what his title was?
Give her a second. She might be checking. Or
That's
she might have
right.
got a phone call. Yeah.
And sorry for taking so long to get that asked, guys. I was trying to let her have the floor here. So thank you for being patient.
Thank you for getting the questions. I was trying to catch them and ask.
Of
And
course.
you guys are being amazing in the comments. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
I am absolutely impressed with our comments tonight. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you guys are amazing. Krystle's a strong young woman here. Strong woman.
I agree. I agree.
Absolutely.
A
She
warrior.
is just amazing.
I did,
Such a strong
Savannah.
head
I
on
think that's
her
what
to
she's
have gone
checking
through all
now.
of that. Yeah, she
Absolutely.
could be. I'm curious to know too about the possibility of others that were supposed to be at the house that night. Do you remember hearing that? I wonder if
I
she.
did hear that. I heard another girl, the one girl was invited and she declined. Can you
Yeah,
imagine?
so maybe she can answer that, because I am curious about that, if she knows
Yeah,
anything
please. I'd
about
love you
that.
guys to hop in and ask questions because I always wonder if my questions are okay and my anxiety. Woo!
Oh, I know, honey. No, you're doing a fabulous job.
I
Amazing
love
job.
you guys. I love y'all. We are just
Amazing
very
job.
blessed that she agreed to come on and share her parts of her story and what she went through. And Jesse McFadden's not the only monster out there. Like,
No, he's
there are
not.
so many of them, and this affects so many children. And this could happen again. This exact situation or something worse could happen again if we don't get some laws changed.
Now, how far is she from where this has happened again?
She now she's in a different part, a different area.
Okay.
A little man. We'll give her a few seconds or a little while. Oh man, little man. Is he still not feeling well?
Well, he's really not. That's why he's being so whiny. Sorry, guys.
No, you're
He
fine.
doesn't feel good.
Poor baby.
It's
He ended
fine.
up
Poor baby.
He needs all the loving.
sleeping on me until like cripes. It was almost like 4:30 when we finally
So
my
I think
husband woke
his
us up.
name is Raymond Paget is the owner of the property.
Oh, okay, okay.
And that's why I'm looking through my photos because I have so much shit sent to me.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So then I was looking at this marriage thing. Hold on a second.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you guys are amazing. Yeah, if you can send Krystle gifts, send her a little love.
And I did see a comment that this was hard to hear. Guys, if this is hard for you, it's okay to pop out, take a breather. You're definitely not required to be here if you're a part of this community. I want you guys to be safe. I know mental health affects us all differently. So if this is like laying hard on you, please feel free to take a break. You're not going to have any backlash from us.
Yeah, I'll have to dig, but there's so much stuff. But somebody did send me something today and said that the reason why she did marry him basically is because that she knew he was a sexual predator, and that's the only way that the kids were able to live like in the same home.
Wait. Oh, she has to marry him and then it makes it okay? That
Yeah,
needs
I'm pretty
to
sure
change.
I have the. I can't read it to you and be on TikTok because it won't let me talk.
Right. Oh my goodness. But can you, that's a law right there in itself that needs to be changed. If you're a sexual
Right.
Yeah.
predator, like you should not be able to marry a person that has children at all. That's,
Well, it's so scary. Krystle, I had a question. So, there had been, something going around that there was possibly more potential victims of people that were to maybe be at the house that weekend that did not go. Do you know anything about that at all?
So there was actually a news interview of a couple younger girls. They couldn't have been maybe 14 years old. It is actually online somewhere. You'd have to dig for it, and I'm not sure what news channel, but they did start bawling when they were doing the interview and said that I can't remember if they said they got a bad feeling or if something came up, but they ended up not going.
I did see that.
Wow.
And then I had another girl start sending me several freaking screenshots. I'm not going to name her name. She asked me not to, but
Absolutely.
she got the last message from Jesse. She even sent me all of his Snapchats. She got the last message from Jesse at 2 p.m. She was actually supposed to meet him at his house to meet up with him. She had been meeting up with him at motels for you know what.
Yeah.
I said, wait, did Holly know about you? And he said no.
Oh, wow.
Or she said no. Sorry, not he.
Right.
Wow.
So she's, I don't know. It kind of makes me wonder if he was going to off a whole bunch of people and just make it a whole mass murder suicide thing, or what his plan was.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of sounds that way. It's kind of scary. Do you know if they are still excavating the property, if they're looking in the pond? Do you know, we've heard hearsay about that. Do you know anything about
They're
that?
being very hush about everything. I know the OSBI has taken over, and I know that the News Nation lady, she's kind of being like the new Nancy Grace there. She's kind of pissed off. She's a little pissed off about everything. Yeah, so she's been on top of things. Miss Banfield has.
Yes. Yeah. We were actually really proud of her.
That's a good thing.
We've been
that the state,
before, but how she stood up and like the passion she felt to stand up, we regained some trust with her with this case because she's really standing up and trying to get something done. As well as you, ma'am. You yourself you are a light in this, just trying to help.
I don't want to see anybody like him out on the streets anymore. His offense was way too violent for him to be let out. Because so the only reason I think it could be more because everybody's like, oh my God, people do have intercourse and stuff in their house, and it's normal. And I'm like, okay, it is normal to a certain extent. But then I think back to what he did to me. He didn't do this to everybody. I was his victim, and I remember the things that he did to me. And it did creep me out a little bit. And I thought, man, what if he took them out one by one? And like some of those things have crossed my mind. There's not a lot of telling.
I can imagine they probably did. They were?
I heard the dad say that they were. When he was on not Nancy Grace. She's got me saying Nancy Grace. Banfield the other night. She is just like her, though. I feel like that is Nancy Grace 2.0.
She cracks me up.
He did say the other night that he didn't want to get too much into it, but they were essayed.
Yeah, so I think they're going to wait for the full toxicology report. I hope they do drug tests on him. I hope they do the full thing. And I know that like people think this is bringing up a lot of trauma for me, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, are you sure you're not going to need counseling? Like, look, I'm fine. I did my counseling for I think it was a year or two, and then I quit because all they want to do is throw pills at you. I'm not I'm not for that. Like, I'm really just not. I don't think that that's the way it should be. I turned to God for a lot of mine, and I think my daughter saved my life. So when they told me that, so they actually took me into a room and said, you're never going to have kids, and we're really sorry. And I kind of just took a run with that, and I was like, okay, well, I'm never having kids. Here we go. I actually got pregnant with my daughter at 18 years old, 2 years later.
That must have been so devastating. I cannot even imagine how that must have affected you. You are such an inspiration to women who have been through this kind of situation, such an amazing advocate, and just so strong, so headstrong. And we all think you are just amazing.
I appreciate that. I mean, I hate that those babies, like, I think what bothers me the most is now we're never going to know what those kids could have been. They could have saved the world. They could have changed things. Like, well, we're never going to know now. And it's all because they let him out of prison. And I told them, if you guys let him out, it's probably going to be the worst mistake you've ever made. And this all started when they were begging me to write him letters and forgive him and just all this nonsense. Like,
Wait, who was asking you to write him letters and forgive him?
So, yeah, so a year after it happened, this is kind of when I started rebelling on my mom. My mom took me back to Kansas, and I got a phone call about a year later or so, and my mom's like, the DA's on the phone for you. And I'm like, what? And so I was like, okay. So I picked the phone up. She's like, Krystle, it's I can't even remember what she said her name was. They said she's not working there anymore, but she's like, this is such and such. And she's like, I'm calling you about Jesse. She's like, we really think it would be beneficial if you and Jesse, if Jesse could start writing you letters. And I let her finish, and I was like, what do you mean write me letters? And she's like, well, you need to work on forgiveness and, just kind of work past this. If he wasn't high on meth, he wasn't up for several days, we don't think this would have ever happened. I ended up calling her a stupid bitch, and I hung the phone up on her.
You should have called her worse, honey. You should have called her. I'm in shock right now. Like, the DA, the
Yes.
people that are responsible for prosecuting this man
Yes.
are the
And
ones.
I'm in shock
I have
too.
forgiven him. I have forgiven him for myself, but I will never ever forget what he did to me, ever.
You shouldn't. And how dare
Yeah.
the people responsible for holding this man accountable call a victim and have the audacity to ask you to forgive him and look past what he did to you. That is, honey, you should think about suing them. I mean, you probably
Yeah,
don't want to, but you should honestly consider suing them for everything.
So I heard that the other victim was thinking about actually taking on and trying to get a case with them, but they were telling me that I actually have no case at all. And I said, what do you mean? I said, so my life almost gets taken from me. And the only reason it got brought up is because they were like, well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And I was like, okay? I was like, well, I'm here for the kids, and I said, but this doesn't make any sense to me. I said, so I lay down with this, like, I actually get my life almost taken from me. He sexually assaults me. I get to where I'm potentially might ever not be able to have children, which God has me. I have my kids. He almost ruins my entire freaking life. I go into a dark place. I get counseling, post-traumatic stress disorder. I literally was scared of everything for years. I said, and you're telling me that you get a case and I don't? How is that possible?
Oh, honey, I just think you need to talk to the right lawyer. That's absolutely insane.
Listen, here's the way I look at things. What's meant to be will be. And if this is meant to happen that way, then someone will find me. And that's how I look at it.
Well, you know what? We got 129 people in here. You guys do your thing. Let's find this young woman an attorney that would be willing to work with her, because the failure of the justice system, not only...
I don't just want an attorney, though. I want to change the world with it. I don't ever want to see listen, here's what bothers me so much. I have had so many women reach out to me and tell me that their little babies have been raped by grown-ass men, and I am disgusted.
Mm-hmm. Honey,
You
I'm
don't
following
think
the case
that
close to
actually
here.
happened, but it does. I don't care about me. I think it's gross that they just put people in prison for way less things for longer, and they just be like, oh, you raped somebody? Oh, you just have 5 years. You can go out on the streets and have kids and get married. It's okay. No, you perpetrated someone. Spend your ass in prison.
Yep, they'll put a smoke dealer like Green Smoke in jail for life.
That just sits and laughs and eats Doritos all day. They might not want to get a job, but I mean, that's the worst that they're going to do. I mean, I don't
They're not hurting
understand it.
nobody.
They're talking about, well, somebody said the other day, well, Krystle, it's overpopulated. Of course they're going to let him out. And I said, so you're going to rather let out a rapist than somebody that's smoking weed? That makes a lot of sense.
Right, exactly. And that's what needs to change. And we all, like, that's not just us networking and finding somebody that can help you. That's all of us here. And I'm sure all around the world should, or the United States should be helping. I'm sure any of us are
Absolutely.
willing to help in any way that we can.
I can't even begin to imagine like men just even wanting to even touch a child. Like it's just, it's
Oh,
so
see, I'm
sick.
following a case here. It was an 18-month-old baby boy, and the mom's boyfriend sodomized him and just did terrible, terrible things to him while the mom was quote unquote sleeping in the next room and heard nothing. Never heard the baby cry in terror or anything else.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and it's disgusting what these monsters can do, and the justice system is failing us.
I had one woman
It
reach out.
is, and it's broken.
I had one
And
woman
it's
reach
really
out today,
simple.
and she told me about a case that she's actually going through where one of her kids is involved, and she's just felt really, I guess, drawn to me. But she's going through a case right now, and her son is like, the whole case is disgusting. But I thought it was crazy because she's like, yeah, she's like, I went and got, my kid a therapy dog, and she doesn't know anything about me, but her therapy dog is actually named one of my kids' names.
That's God working miracles.
So I thought that was wild, and I showed my kid, and she's like, oh my gosh, here we go, Mom, another one of your signs.
There's always signs. I was going to say there's always signs.
But I'm weird like that. So I was like, this lady doesn't know me from Adam. And so I just thought it was crazy. Like, she's just telling me her story, and I just listen, and I just, give her advice, and, just listen to her. And it's just sad. There was 18 kids that she's about to go to court for. 18 of them.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So there's a lot more than we think. Like, you never sit and think that it's actually like that, but it is.
Yeah. And one
And
thing I keep pointing out is like, I know he was creepy looking a little bit, but if you would have run into Jesse McFadden at a gas station or Walmart, and you didn't know, he would look like the normal everyday man. Like, you wouldn't, these monsters don't look like monsters. They look
especially
like
walking in with
regular
three regular cute little kids, you never would think that somebody would be with someone like that.
Right.
So that made it even worse.
Do you know, I heard a rumor, and I'm not sure if it's true or not, that the oldest, Riley, was taken out of school
I've heard
because
that too.
okay, I heard that, and that I get very nervous because I heard it was because he was acting like a jealous boyfriend when some boy was talking to her.
So
and he
here's
ripped her out
what
of
I
school.
want to know. So there was the day of the murders, I guess they were spotted at Brahms, and he was all over Brittany, I guess. And I guess a couple of the customers had to get up and leave Brahms because they were so disgusted because he was so old and she was so young. And then he was at Walmart, I guess, spotted, and he was buying a tripod and a camcorder. I want to know where this tripod and camcorder went and what's on it.
Absolutely. I wonder if that made it to the back of the car you said was packing up at the beginning.
Oh, well, no, everything had to get turned over to the OSBI because they spotted them before they even left.
Did they get them before? Okay, because
I'm
that's
pretty
what I was
sure.
curious about.
Yep.
Now, can you, this is a question I have. When you said that like Brittany and him were spotted out, I heard that they were last seen Saturday, but it wasn't it wasn't Holly's kids or Holly. It was just Brittany and Ivy with Jesse.
I don't know. So I also heard that, so I've heard the word stage too, but I don't really know what that means. So
I don't either, because then I also heard that Brittany and Ivy got away and were able to run away.
So the way they were running, they said that I've heard that it looked like they were kind of running for their lives, but
That's
I can
what
see
I
that.
heard too.
A couple of them, I think one of them got a few more gunshot wounds to the head than the other. So it looked like he was a little more angry at somebody else than he was the others,
Yeah. Holly got 3, I think. I think Holly got the most.
They didn't even make it to their 1-year anniversary either. That's a narcissistic
And her
pig.
family said they didn't even know that they were married, or didn't know they got married when they did, because apparently it was just over Christmas Eve that they had brought a wedding cake to a Christmas Eve party. Holly's family claimed that they didn't even know that they had been married when they were.
I don't know what to
Yeah, and
believe.
they had been married like the May before.
Here's how I feel like normal people think. If I was Holly's family and I went on a news station, a big news station like the Banfield, And I sat on there and I said, and I was talking about the first victim, you know, that went through something so horrific. And I was telling them about me being impersonated. Not once have these people tried to reach out to me and tell me how sorry they are for that or nothing.
Wow.
I have not heard one word out of any of these people. And I even commented on Jeanette's page.
Oh, wow.
That's carelessness to me.
That is.
And I think you're very rude. And now I don't know what to believe out of you. And that's all I'll say about it. As far as Holly goes, I don't speak ill of the dead.
Right.
I won't say a word about her because I don't know, and she's not here to defend herself. Jeanette is here, and so is the rest of the family, and they have not said one word to me. Apologize for the impersonation, and I've heard they made it up. So if it's made up, they need to tell the truth because I'm ready to press charges. And if they made it up, I'll press charges on them too. Let me find out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if they did, shame on them. That's absolutely disgusting. And they should be focusing on getting justice for the 3 babies and their family and the 2 others.
It kind of makes me wonder because I know he was on meth, you know, he never quit it. So it makes me wonder if he just found some random crackhead and was like, hey, I'll pay you $30 if you go pretend like you're such and such and tell him that it was a lie. So
yeah.
I don't really know like how I feel about it too much, but I kind of want to talk to the person or be like, yo, what the hell is wrong with you?
Right. Like, why would you do that?
I mean, are you kidding me? Do you even know? Do you not look these people up?
I mean, let's hope it's made up because think about it. Like, who would do something like that? Who would agree to something like that?
I don't know. The whole thing's just disgusting, and I hate that he took those babies from their families. And I'm just glad Ivy has a dad like she has, and that's all I'll say about it because that man don't back down from nothing.
I did ask this before, but you had gone on pause before I heard an answer. Did you know what his specific job was, or was it just that it was a government, some type
It's
of
marketing.
government?
It was like marketing, like at home. I was trying to find the thing. I can
Okay.
send it. If she wants to add me like on Messenger or something, I can send it to her on there.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
that's
Well,
okay.
you added me as a friend, so we should be able to message back and forth. But yeah, I think we're friends on Facebook now, too, actually.
Oh God, I've messaged and added so many people now, but I get
I'll message you on Facebook.
okay. Yeah, do that, and then I'll send it to you because I have so many messages. I'll have to go through it.
For sure.
No, and thank you for even answering. I didn't hear the answer, and I know that we had a couple more comments, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
Who just said could it have been the girl that was texting him from prison? Are you talking about the other victim, Miss Hope?
I highly doubt that. I believe that she's still underage, isn't she?
No, she's 23 now.
Okay.
But they found over 200 letters in Jesse's house that they had written back and forth to each other.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
Wow.
And that's another thing that's scary too. Like they're supposed to be going through these letters and whatnot, and there's no way. I mean, I guess he had a phone, but like, there's no way that something fishy wasn't in these letters. Like, I refuse to believe it.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see what they find out. They found a lot of computers and a lot of phones. Like I think 32 phones I heard.
That's what I heard, too. And I heard a lot of them were registered to different people.
Yeah, but with the same address.
Yeah, with same address, but different people.
So I was trying to figure that out too, and I can't but see, I know like tweakers will do that though. They'll have like several burner phones and people that cheat, they'll do that. So I'm trying to think like a little bit positive because I don't want it to be something so gruesome. But then again, I know it's Jesse, and so I'm like, you never know.
Right.
I just don't want it I don't want it to be something awful and just like
Of
the bloody
course not.
clothing, like Lynn, like it's just so disturbing. But it's also Jesse, so I'm like, anything's possible, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think none of us want that to happen. I did see something the other day about the number of missing kids in that area or surrounding, and I was really surprised by that, just in
I
Oklahoma
believe
in
it was
general.
Banfield that was like playing She played all the
I mean, there
missing
was a
kids in
lot.
the area from just the time that Jesse was released from prison. And it
Yes.
was a very large list.
And I pray that that's not related, but um, it's a lot. It's a lot. And then the number of pedophiles in the area too. We are hearing.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
heard there
his
was.
mother is a huge enabler, buying him TVs, putting oatmeal cookies on his books. I think if my son, the first offense after a violent crime like that, I'm going to get you some serious counseling, maybe electrode your brain, put it back normal. I'm going to do something different than buying you cookies, buddy.
Right? Don't think the cookies are
Absolutely.
working, Mom.
Yes.
Yeah, I might whoop
I
your
just,
ass.
and to have two kids, to have not just one, but two sons that do those things.
I
Like
wonder what they saw or what they went through or what
something,
happened that
yeah.
made them what they are. For them both to just be these incredible monsters that I hope they put his brother away, never let him out. Like they need to see now.
He's in there on $1 million bond as of right now.
I saw
So
that. And he doesn't have any money.
I have a report on him actually that his mother tried to press charges on him, but she dropped it. And I have a report on him, and it talks about how it started out with him seeing things, that there was people tapped into tapped into something, and then he went into his truck and set the
Sounds
truck
like
on
he
fire.
Sounds like he does the same type of rugs that his brother does.
Yeah, and then he went to a tree and tied a rope to it and tried to hang himself. And then she went and did this whole paper statement and then dropped the charges on him. So I mean, I don't know. They did an interview again on Banfield about that, and the FBI agent actually went on there, the analysis guy, and said that actually it is possible to have two kids like that, and it could be a sickness. So maybe it runs in the family.
I have a question.
Yeah,
I don't remember which news station or whatever that we heard, but there was some sort of reporting saying that it was either Jesse or the brother had stated that they had been raised by Triple K. Was
I
he
think that
like
was
that when you
Jesse,
was
Triple
he
K, what the
either
hell's
of them
that?
like that when you knew them?
the
Were they
clan.
like,
I
I'm
don't know
not
what that
saying
is.
it's
Oh, that must be what he wrote in that letter. So they actually, the news reporter sent me a letter saying that he's really sorry for what the pain that he caused Krystle's family and the pain he caused me. And then the next letter went on to say, I am in the Klan, this and that. And I was like, the Klan, like, what the hell? Why would you even say that?
Yeah, that they played that. I think that was Banfield, Heinze, but it was like a letter to the judge or someone.
I couldn't
He
remember
was talking
exactly what it
talking
was.
about how
The
he's
first
openly
year he was in there.
racist and what's that,
yeah, I
huh?
remember seeing something about that too. I
He
can't
wrote that
remember.
the first year he was in there trying to get out of prison after that violent assault.
Oh wow! After he assaulted the other inmate, that's
I mean, was there I'm
monster.
sure there wasn't like complete truth to it, but was he like did he seem to affiliate himself with that kind of stuff like back when you knew him?
See, and everybody, like, I didn't know Jesse like that. Like, with the first, like,
Okay.
the few times that I did know, like, talk to him, like, he was more of a acquaintance. Like, he'd talk to Holly, and I'd be like, oh, hey, what's up? And I would see Cody at school, and Cody was real quiet. He was real standoffish, didn't say much. And Jesse would call me, like, hatchback ass, oh, you're ugly. And I'm like, man, F you. And it was nothing. Like, we weren't friends. Like, he was weird.
Right.
He was weird, just different. Nothing I would kick it with. Like, no, never.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely a weirdo.
Peachy Heinze. Do you girls have any more questions?
No, I mean she's answered pretty much all of them. How about you guys in the comments? Do you guys have any other questions that you want to ask?
I don't have a question, but I just want to say that I am very appreciative that you came up here and shared your story. I can't imagine what this is like for you, and coming up here and being so vocal about it and everything is just, it's truly inspiring. I know that we have a lot of different people in these comments here, and they may not have the same story, but they could have similar. And I think that you just empowered them tonight. So thank you.
Honey, there's more people out there than you think. I've had plenty of them come forward, and it's disgusting how many predators there are. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Exactly. I am amazed by you tonight, and I really, really, really do appreciate you
Oh, thank
so
you.
much
So
for
am
this
I.
tonight.
You know, you talk about your faith, and you are such a testimony for those, even if it's a recent thing that's happened to them, to know that you may have a hard time, but you can rise above it, and you can buy your own home, and you can do the things that you want to do and pull yourself out of the dark. You are a testimony, and we just thank you so much for coming on and doing this.
You're welcome. And I tell you, if anything, if you can't find a friend or you feel like nobody is there for you, I'm telling you, get on your knees and pray about it. And the power of prayer does work. And if you feel like it ain't working, pray some more. I'm telling you.
Thank you so much for saying that. I absolutely love that. And honestly, I think what you went through and just who you are today, you are and can be such an amazing warrior and advocate for the change that needs to happen. I hate to say like all things happen for a reason and people end up in the right place at the right time. But sweetheart, I think you're falling into the place that you're meant to be with standing up for these people that need justice.
I say that all the time, and I really believe that. So I stand with you on that.
And continue the fight, because this is obviously, and you have a perfect example. Of course, unfortunately, you were, the first, but the system failed. And this is the fallout from that. And we all know this. So things need to change.
I agree.
And I want you to know, like, you have our entire support, and anything you need, anything we can do, please reach out and let me know. We're behind you 1,000%.
Absolutely. I sent you a follow.
You speak to the parents. What was it, Ivy's parents that you speak to, or do you speak to both parents?
Actually, the Brewers have not reached out to me at all. I don't know what it was about the Websters. I just felt really, I felt really drawn to them for some reason. And as soon as I pulled up to Justin's, as soon as I pulled up to Justin's, he was like, "Who are you?" And I was like, "Well, I'm Krystle." And he's like, "Krystle?" And he's like, "Oh my God." And then his knees started shaking, and then he was just bawling, and he just grabbed me and hugged me, and it was really sad. And then Ashley was crying.
Like an amazing person.
He's 100% for his daughter. I can tell you that right now.
God.
Our hearts go out to them and everyone involved, and to you. Even though you're,
extend our love to them.
Absolutely. Please do.
We're going to do big things with this, I hope so.
Absolutely. Brian, you just got it. And did you want to hop up? Do you have any questions? Or are you just getting out of the bubble bath for the night?
Come on, Brian.
And Brian's, if you guys start a
friend, he's always got an interesting
He's a part of our team. Yes, he does.
Are you in the tub right now, sir? He also likes lots of bubble baths.
Oh my.
It's an ongoing joke with us.
Hello,
hey guys.
Sir.
I have been in the comments, and I just want y'all to know, Krystle, I just want you to know I'm so grateful that you came on tonight and shared, and I know that's got to be difficult, and at the same time just incredibly strong. And anyway, I don't know, it's been hard listening and insightful, but I don't have any questions whatsoever. I just want to say thanks for coming on.
No, you're welcome.
I think we're all in awe of you, to be honest.
100%. I mean,
we really are
100%. An incredible human being.
Oh, thank you.
And I'll tell you this, Krystle, too, from I'm a county official over here. I don't do much, but what little we get to do is usually impactful, and we get to work a lot with legislators. I'm over here in Arkansas, in Northwest Arkansas. I don't know if you're already working with legislators or not. You mentioned, changing laws and that kind of thing. I mean, I got to tell you, with your presence and your story, people will listen to you, and you have the ability to move mountains.
Yes, she does.
And I would just encourage you, if you don't already, to build, just pick up the phone and call one of your state reps or one of your state senators, and you can affect laws really quickly.
I wouldn't even know how to begin to do that. Nobody listened to me 20 years ago. I don't think they're going to listen now.
Brian, would you be able to
let me
help?
tell you something. I will help you do that. And I
Okay.
can do it
Brian will
in
be
a
the
matter
person
of
that can
minutes.
help you do that.
Okay.
He is going to be the best person that's going to be able to help you achieve that. So I want you guys, make sure you follow each other now. Brian's real good about helping. You're amazing. That's what I wanted you to get in here for, Brian. So continue.
Well, I didn't want to.
He's one of the
disrupt
best.
anything, and just want to be respectful. So, but anyway, I hope you'll have a great night. And Krystle, thanks so much again.
Yep. No, you're welcome. Sounds like a great plan. Anything for the kids.
Yeah. I followed you. If you want to give me a follow back, you don't have to, but if you do, then I can message you, obviously.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to jump down, but I'm still going to be in the comments.
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
All right, y'all.
Thank you.
All right, Krystle. Well, do you have anything else you want to share? I don't see any other questions. We definitely appreciate you for coming on and sharing your story and your testament tonight. And I agree with everyone. I really think you could be the voice of change. Your presence and just the way you speak is astonishing and very powerful.
Oh, thank you. At least my big mouth's good for something.
It absolutely is, girlfriend. You remind me a lot of me. I like you.
Thanks.
Yes, and please come back anytime.
Yes.
We kind of cover a lot of different true crime and stuff like that. So if this is kind of stuff that you're into, we'd love to have you back.
I wasn't into it. I watch it, Dateline every now and then, but I never thought I would be speaking about it. That's for sure.
Well, honey, you have the voice for it. So you are welcome back anytime, even if you just want to hang out in the comments or anytime you want to come up in the box. And even if you don't want to talk
love to have
to
you
face,
around.
if there's something else, anything, we are here and we are open for you anytime.
Well,
Your presence is very welcomed here.
All right. Well, thank you, girls. I hope you have a good night.
You as well.
so
Thank
much.
you.
We'll talk to you later.
Thank you so much. You too, sweetie.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, that was absolutely incredible.
Yes, it was.
That was amazing.
I just, again, want to thank all the listeners, all the commenters, you girls, Brian. This is an amazing, amazing group, and I am so blessed to be a part of it. And you guys were just phenomenal tonight.
I have a question. Is Fortnite's wife still in the live?
I got 7 members on my team. What?
I will give you a follow. I'm trying to look and see if she's still in here or if
Fortnite wife, she just commented.
Yeah, she just commented about Michelle.
Okay. Do you need one of us to reach out to you? I saw your comment earlier, and that's all I'll say. Just wanted to kind of address that really quick.
We can do for you, honey. We are here.
But I wanted to let you know I did catch that. So, if you wanna reach out to one of us.
I didn't catch it, but my inbox is open for all messages. You don't have to follow me, or I don't have to follow you. I didn't catch the comment. I'm not sure what it was, but my inbox is absolutely open. If you need
They were going by so fast. I just saw it, so I just wanted to make sure she knew that it didn't go unnoticed, and we're here if she wants to message us, and that's all we'll say.
I apologize for any comments I missed, guys. I was kind of focused on the conversation with Krystle. I wanted to keep my attentions focused there. I did try to see the comments when I could. My brain doesn't allow for multiple functions. I don't have that button.
And we thank everybody in this live tonight. All of you have been amazing. And you have all been so wonderful, showed so much love, so much grace. We love you guys.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, I hear that Miss Indy is having a live right now to do the reshowing or the showing of bodies show. So I think I'm going to hop off and go show some love over there.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
But I want to hop over and show them some love. So if you guys want to hop over with us, we're going to head over to Indy.
All right, let's go.
Love y'all. See you.
Remember,
Love you
our
guys.
messages are open for y'all whenever. If you need to message, just message us. Love y'all. See you soon.
Love you guys.